Hi, my name is Ayush Biraris. No matter what you see, there comes a moment when you zone out from it. No matter how good, no matter how much the content is, no matter how good the content you're watching is, but there comes a moment when you zone out and you are actually not watching it or you're not attentive enough towards it. I won't say you like other, I'm not criticizing or naming any other YouTuber, but I'll not ask you to attend and listen each and every word I would speak very carefully. It's up to you. Either you listen or you do not. It's completely up to you. Because I do have a tendency, no matter how much good content I'm consuming, there comes a moment I zone out. Okay, so I completely understand you, your psychology, mentality, etc., whatever it is. So, disclaimer: I read the Indian Express every day, and I like to record it. It makes me feel confident and also slightly more serious about reading. When I read just alone, recording makes gives me a kind of company. When I read alone, it doesn't enough serious for me. The reason why I record, and if I record it, I also upload it on YouTube. It's not a big deal. Yeah, editing, etc., these things are very difficult. The reason why many established and great YouTubers, they upload within 2 or 3 days, because they not just record but also edit, and editing definitely requires more efforts. Today an editor or an AI expert can create and upload and get millions of views, but those who are like me, who are terrible in editing and also not enjoy editing, we speak, we record, speak, and we upload. This is the same kind of video. Even there isn't going to be any copyright free music here. It's just going to be me speaking, uh, basically reading the Indian Express. So I know you may find it very easy. Creating these kind of videos is quite easy. Not easy. Those who are doing just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes is easy. But if you would have seen my previous videos, I record for probably around 1 hour. The reason I do it, because I'm trying to cultivate a great habit of reading, which won't be just supported by my conscious mind but also by my subconscious mind. The reason why I'm doing this, and this recording process helps helps me to take it more seriously. The reason why I record it. So thank you for being here, and I'll read, you listen, and no matter even if you understand or not, even I myself won't be remembering these all words and articles. Even after reading one article, I may not remember what did I read just now. But I guess this is my fourth video, and I truly don't remember. I guess, yeah, probably this is my fourth video. The reason why I won't expect getting proficient on just fourth video, there'll be many more videos. It will take time. Okay, so no matter, do not burden yourself that what he was saying I didn't listen or I didn't hear. Just put it on and just go to your fictional dreamy world. You're happy to go there. Even if I would ask you to listen, you won't be able to listen very carefully, because it's not a tendency, neither yours nor mine. So it's fine, it's okay. Okay, so the Indian Express, day is Wednesday, December 17, 2025, and the first page is, nowadays on every alternate day, the first page of the newspaper has advertisement. Okay, oh sorry, yeah, this is the first page, my bad. Okay, almost on every alternative front page is full of advertisement. Okay, so also, uh, I may not read the entire newspaper. I would read those articles, those pages, and that part which I truly like to read. As I said, neither I take all these articles very seriously to implement somewhere, nor you have to listen everything carefully. The reason why I read which attracts me to read, and not just to read really intellectual stuff, because it doesn't fit in mind, doesn't get stuck in mind. Okay, okay. So the headline is Bondi Beach attacker was from Hyderabad, left India 27 years ago. Those who have watched my previous videos, we discuss this incident. I guess we have been discussing this incident since day before yesterday. The attack, which considered a terrorist attack at the Bondi Beach of Sydney, Australia. This is related to it. The headline of today's is related to it. Bondi Beach attacker was from Hyderabad. See, when I first read the headline, even I couldn't, I won't say understand, but even I couldn't realize that this is the case. And that person left India 27 years ago. Radicalization of Sajid Akram and son has nothing to do with India or Telangana. DGP, family house locked. Article has been given by Nikhila Henry, Mahinder Singh Mandral, and Srinivas Janiala, Hyderabad, New Delhi, December 16. One of the two gunmen who shot and killed at least 15 people at Bondi Beach in Sydney on the evening of December 1st is learned to be from Hyderabad. Law enforcement agencies in both Australia and India confirmed bringing into focus a two-story bungalow in Hyderabad's Toli Chowki area that belongs to the family. 15 people were killed in a mass shooting that occurred on December 14, 2025, at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, during a Hanukkah celebration. Two gunmen, Sajid Akram and his son Naveed Akram, were identified as the shooters according to the Telangana police. Sajid has a BCom degree and migrated to Australia in November 1998 after marrying a woman of European origin. For those who have not watched my previous videos, I give a disclaimer every day that the articles mentioned on the front page of the newspaper. I don't know about others, but I read the Indian Express. So articles mentioned on on the front page of the Indian Express have just 25% of them. The rest 75% is given on the second page. I mostly till now I haven't read the second page because I don't like to read it. I just read the important 25% on the front page. As I said, I know half information is dangerous, but I'm not going to implement this information to anywhere to do anything. Next small title is Police Shooters Inspired by Islamic State went to the Philippines last month. Given by agencies Sydney, December 16. The two alleged gunmen who attacked a Hanukkah event at Sydney's Bondi Beach had traveled to the Philippines last month and appeared to be inspired by the Islamic State, police said on Tuesday. Immigration officials in the Philippines said both men had traveled to Manila and onward to Davao, Davao in the south of the country on November 1st and left on November 28th, just weeks before the Bondi shooting. Sajid Akram, 50 years old, traveled on an Indian passport, while his son, Naveed Akram, 24 years old, was on an Australian passport, officials said. A news conference by Australia's political and law enforcement leaders on Tuesday was the first time officials confirmed their beliefs about the suspects' ideologies. Okay. The next title is An Energy Bill Rules Likely to Open Space for Foreign Funding. Behind move, need for base load alternatives, hunt for capital to step up nuclear capacity. Given by Liz Matthews and Anil Sasi, New Delhi, December 16. Building on the clear directional push to open up the restricted nuclear power sector to private sector participation, the rules that will follow the passage of the proposed Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Bill 2025 Shanti are likely to make a provision for potential foreign funding in the nuclear sector. The new bill, which was tabled in Parliament Monday and aims to repeal both the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act 2010 comes amid India's move to look outward for collaborations on nuclear that is driven by two clear policy imperatives: the desperate need for base load alternatives to coal fired capacity to tide over the limitations of renewables, and more importantly, the need for capital to scale up nuclear capacity addition. Foreign funds, including sovereign funds from West Asia, have expressed early interest to put in capital to part finance the country's stated objectives to scale up nuclear power, including getting into the manufacturing value chain of SMRs or small modular reactors. SMRs are increasingly being seen as important. Okay, moving to the next title. In relief to Gandhi's, Delhi court throws out ED's complaint. No FIR, so no predicate offense. Probe based on, I believe this short form PVT can mean private. So I'm saying private. If it's something else, do let me know in the comments. On private complaint by Swami, given by Nirbhay Thakur, New Delhi, December 16. A Delhi court Tuesday declined to take cognizance of the Enforcement Directorate's prosecution complaint filed in an alleged rupees 2000 crore money laundering case, effectively halting the case against senior Congress leaders Sonia and Rahul Gandhi and five others. Dismissing the ED complaint, Special Judge Vishal Gogni of Rose Avenue Court said this court can reach no conclusion other than finding a predicate offense registered through a FIR to be the sine qua non. As these terms are new to me, to be the sine qua non for initiating investigation under the PMLA in a 117-page order. The court declined to take cognizance of the money laundering offense primarily on two grounds: that the CBI had not even filed an FIR establishing a predicate offense that could trigger a money laundering probe, and that the ED probe was based solely on a private complaint by former BJP leader Subramaniam Swamy. A prosecution complaint by the ED is akin to a charge sheet filed against the case. The special court's cognizance is necessary to initiate prosecution in the case. Since the present prosecution complaint pertaining pertaining to money laundering is founded on cognizance and summoning order upon a complaint by a public person, I don't even take efforts to trim and then edit these kind of stuff because even that takes a lot of time. The reason why I pause whenever I need to pause and then I continue whenever I'm okay to continue. So the next title is From Tomorrow, Non-BS V Cars, Non-BS V Cars from Outside Can't Enter Delhi. Given by Sophia Matthew, New Delhi, December 16. No non-BSV private vehicle registered outside Delhi will be allowed to enter the capital from Thursday. The Delhi government has announced private vehicles that float the entry ban will be seized. Delhi Environment Minister Manjinder Singh Sirsa said on Tuesday. Sirsa also announced that beginning Thursday, vehicles that do not have valid pollution control a valid pollution under control certificate will not be sold fuel at fuel pumps in the capital. After 3 straight days of severe including the second worst bad air day on the record on Sunday. The air quality index in Delhi improved to very poor on Tuesday. The average AQI on Tuesday was 354, somewhat better than the levels of 427, 461, and 431 recorded on the preceding 3 days. There is only tomorrow. In between, from the day after, no non Delhi registered vehicle that complies with emissions standards lower than BSV will enter Delhi, and if any such vehicle is found in Delhi, it will be seized, Sirsa said on Tuesday. The next title is Jammu and Kashmir CM Omar Abdullah is guest at Adda today, given by Basharat Masood, Srinagar, December 16. A little over a year ago, when Omar Abdullah took over as the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, he knew he was wearing a crown of thorns, but with a massive mandate behind him, and buoyed by a hope that statehood will return to the Union territory. Omar took charge and attempted to steer Kashmir through its layered political challenges and developmental aspirations. A year on, however, his optimism is tempered by reality. He has admitted that the challenges in J&K, especially in a dual power structure, turn out to be far more complex and demanding than probably what he anticipated. The next title is Brothers Wanted for Goa Blaze Deported to be Taken to Goa, given by Pavneet Singh Chadda and Alok Singh, Panji, New Delhi, December 16. 9 days after they fled to Thailand, within hours of the blaze at their Goa nightclub, where 25 people died, Saurabh Luthra and Gaurav Luthra were deported to India Tuesday. 25 people. I know this incident is not new. I have read this even before. But I don't know why at this moment I acknowledged this number very well. 25. Life can be so unnoticed many times, unnoticed and casual. When we get to know that in some incidents or in some situations, life is so casual. The Goa police took them into custody shortly after the Luthra brothers landed at the Delhi airport in the afternoon and was producing them before a court to obtain transit remand for their transfer to Goa. The Luthras who ran the nightclub, built by Romeo Lane in Arpora in North Goa, fled to Thailand within hours of the blaze on the night of December 6. The last title of the front page is Record Win for Three Uncapped Players, all sons of teachers at IPL auction, given by Lalit Kalidas Shankar, Narayan Devendra Pandey, New Delhi, Mumbai, December 16. On a day when international stars Cameron Green and Mahesh Pathirana bagged big money in the IPL auction, it was the three uncapped Indians, sons of teachers, who stunned the cricketing world. Rajasthan's wicketkeeper batsman Kartik Sharma and Uttar Pradesh all-rounder Prashant Veer shattered the record for the most expensive uncapped Indian player ever, signed at an IPL auction, netting rupees 14.2 crore from Chennai Super Kings, while Jammu and Kashmir pacer Akib Nabi fetched rupees 8.4 crore. All three were listed at base price of rupees 30 lakh and hit jackpots on a day. Established name like Prithvi Shaw went unsold. Green became the most expensive overseas player when KKR bid rupees 25.2 crore for the Australian all-rounder. Karthik, son of a teacher who quit work to support his dream, hails from Rajasthan. Prashant's father is a Shiksha Mitra, a contractual school teacher in Amethi, earning rupees 12,000 a month, and Okib's father is an English teacher at a government school, in Baramulla. The previous record for the most expensive uncapped Indian was rupees 10 crore for fast bowler Avesh Khan in 2022. Prashant, held by CSK fans as a like for like replacement for Ravindra Jadeja, as he two balls left arm spin and hits big, shared his dreamy feeling of watching the auction unfold. I was just hoping that someone would raise the paddle. It took me some time to realize that I have gone to CSK for rupees 14 crore. I, it felt like a dream. I told Rinku to pinch him once. My family has not seen so much money in their life. I can understand. This will change things for good. What I'll do with the money, that's for my family to think about, not my job. I always wanted to play for CSK, especially under MS Dhoni. He too bats lower down the order like me. I had wished to go to CSK. God has heard my prayers, he told the Indian Express. To chase his cricketing dream, Prashant left home early and moved to Saharanpur. His mother, a homemaker, became his emotional anchor, managing the household while nurturing an uncertain dream. Karthik too has a similar story. Over a decade ago, his father Manoj quit his job as a teacher to nurture his precocious hitting capabilities. His mother, Radha, is an Anganwadi worker. The family of five, which includes Karthik's two younger siblings, are dependent on Radha's meager earnings and the support from relatives. I've always believed in his abilities. They call him the Sixer King in Rajasthan these days, Manoj told the Indian Express on the eve of the auctions. His fiercest bidders, CSK and the Kolkata Knight Riders, reflected Karthik's six, hitting six. His fiercest bidders, CSK and the Kolkata Knight Riders, reflected Karthik's six hitting exhibition in the trials. The trials were amazing for him. Moving to the state news section, the first title is Why BJP is wary of the Marathi factor, given by Express News Service, Mumbai, December 16. As a possible reunion of estranged Thackeray cousins ahead of the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation elections looms, the BJP is treading cautiously around Marathi Asmita, a factor that has helped the Shiv Sena retain control of the country's richest civic body for nearly 3 decades, while Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has publicly dismissed concerns over any adverse impact of a Uddhav Thackeray Raj Thackeray alliance. BJP strategists BJP strategists are behind closed doors, working on ways to counter a potential Shiv Sena UBT MNS campaign centered on the sons of the soil plank. The BJP believes any attempt to mobilize the Marathi Manus could prove critical. With nearly 26% of Mumbai's electorate being Marathi speaking, the party knows wrestling power from Shiv Sena UBT will not be easy. The party maintains its development plan will override regional, caste, and emotive considerations. Its confidence stems from inroads among non Marathi voters, particularly North Indians and Gujaratis, who together make up around 30 to 35% of the electorate. However, BJP leaders concede the average 11% Muslim vote bank is likely to go against it. The undivided Shiv Sena, founded on June 1966, was built on Marathi Asmita. Bal Thackeray formed the party to fight what he termed injustice to sons of the soil by non-Marathis. Initially targeting people from southern India, the party later focused on North Indian migrants as it expanded across Maharashtra. Despite strategic shifts over decades, the Marathi plank remained central. The legacy of the Samyukta Maharashtra movement, which fought to retain Mumbai within Maharashtra on linguistic grounds, also shaped the party's early politics. On Tuesday, BJP minister and former Mumbai BJP president Ashish Shelar attacked the Thackeray's, asking, "What have you done for Marathi Manus?" In the 25 years rule in BMC, Uddhav Thackeray's party has inducted in corruption. It's, it is responsible for driving away Marathis away from city. It has killed Marathis. His remarks came a day after the State Election Commission announced polls for 29 municipal corporations, including the BMC, on January 15. On Monday, unsigned posters appealing to Marathi speaking residents appeared across Mumbai, especially in areas such as Girgaon and Dadar. One poster read, "Marathi people, wake up, the night is stormy. This is a fight for your very existence." While another said, "Wake up, Marathi people, save Mumbai, save Mumbai." Sena UBT leader Sanjay Raut said on Tuesday, "Soon the Thackeray brothers will announce formal union and poll plans. We will not allow Mumbai to go into hands of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah," said by Sanjay Raut. Counter strategy by BJP. Downplaying the impact of a Thackeray reunion, Fadnavis said, "We are confident of success in local body elections, including BMC. We'll have a Mahayuti mayor in BMC." He added, "Even if Uddhav and Raj Thackeray come together or not, it will not have any impact on the BJP." For the BJP, the BMC polls carry high stakes. Since its formation in 1980, the party has never had its own mayor in the civic body. Even during long alliances with the undivided Shiv Sena, the 2017 polls marked a breakthrough when the BJP won 82 seats, just two short of the Sena's 84 compared to 33 seats in 2012. Highlighting Mumbai's importance, Fadnavis has appointed to infrastructure projects undertaken since 2014 under BJP government at center and state 2014 onwards. Mumbai transformation process gained momentum with mega infrastructure projects, he said. The next title is Housing, Slum Redevelopment and Green Projects, Mahayuti's Mumbai Infra Push, given by Vallabh Ozarkar, Mumbai, December 16. With the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation polls in mind, which will be held on January 15, the Mahayuti government has announced a slew of Mumbai centric urban renewal measures. The announcements, mostly linked to the regularization of housing, redevelopment, and civic infrastructure, were made by Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Deputy CM Eknath Shinde, who also holds the urban development portfolio during the 7-day winter session of the Assembly in Nagpur. The occupation certificate amnesty scheme is aimed at regularizing around 20,000 buildings in Mumbai, which have not been granted OCs due to minor deviations from approved plans. The scheme will benefit around 2.5 lakh families, residents of such buildings, who were forced to pay double property tax. Water and sewage charges will not be penalized once their buildings are regularized. Shinde told the assembly that proposals submitted within 6 months would attract no penalty, while those filed between 6 months and a year would attract a reduced premium. Hospitals and schools categorized as unauthorized will also be eligible for the amnesty. The government announced a regulatory framework for the redevelopment of Pagdi buildings, around 19,000 of which are in Mumbai, with over 13,000 of them awaiting redevelopment. Many of the buildings, largely built before the 1960s, are in a dilapidated condition. The Pagdi system is an old tenancy arrangement that became common in Mumbai before independence. A tenant paid a one time amount to the landlord. In return, they could stay in the house almost permanently by paying a token rent as low as a few hundred rupees a month. Shinde said the new framework would protect the rights of tenants and landlords while making redevelopment viable. To speed up stalled projects, the government said fast track courts would be set up to clear around 28,000 pending tenant landlord dispute within 3 years. Fadnavis announced a housing for all scheme aimed at making redevelopment viable in areas, particularly in the city's western suburbs, affected by restrictions due to the presence of defense establishments, funnel zones, radar installations, and other constraints. It provides free floor space for economically weaker sections and free reconstruction of homes of those falling under the lower income groups with unutilized development rights to be converted into transferable development rights. In a move that is likely to unlock redevelopment, the government announced that the high frequency radar centers at Dahisar and Juhu would be relocated. The Dahisar radar will be shifted to Gorey, with the state bearing the cost and transferring land free of cost to the center. In return, 50% of the Dahisar land will be developed as a public garden. The alternative site for the Juhu radar is under technical evaluation. The government has also approved the redevelopment of slums on plots larger than 50 acres. It zeroed it on 17 locations across the city, including Govandi and Top Hill, Borivali, Dahisar, Chembur, Vikroli, and Bandu. While the number of families to be rehabilitated has yet to be specified, the projects will likely be executed through joint ventures of state agencies and the BMC. Shinde also announced the rehabilitation of 25,000 slum households and tribal families living inside or on forest land in and around the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. The proposed rehabilitation is within a 5-kilometer radius. The SRA Abhay scheme, allowing regularization of slum tenements caught in technical violations, has been extended till December 31st, 2026, while MHADA's amnesty scheme for OCs has also been extended. The government said the number of apex grievance redressal committees would be increased to clear over 2,100 pending slum redevelopment complaints. Hours before the poll announcement on Monday, Shinde unveiled an ambitious green roadmap for Mumbai and Thane. He announced a 295-acre central park at Mahalakshmi, touted to be the largest urban park in the country. For his home turf, Thane, Shinde outlined a series of large-scale projects, including a 260-meter weaving tower along the Thane Creek, convention center Kasarwad Kasarwadavli's at Kasarwadavli, a 25-acre town park at Korshet, an agri-Kori museum, aquarium, and science center an international standard snow park, an amusement and adventure park, a bird sanctuary on 12.5 acres, a 25-acre musical concert center, and a 50-acre sports complex. The government also announced a creation of a state-level housing stock pool to rehabilitate project-affected persons, mill workers, dabbewalas, and mathadi workers, porters. It also made amendments to development rules to accelerate redevelopment of old Charles on Mumbai's textile mills on Mumbai's textile mill lands in central Mumbai, which is an area dominated by Marathi speaking population, seen as a core voter base of the undivided Shiv Sena. A consideration of green TDR to protect mangrove areas was also announced. For Navi Mumbai, the government has announced a 10% reduction in prices of Sitco, that is, City and, City and Industrial Development Corporation of Maharashtra Limited. Homes with 17,000 houses to be offered through a lottery, benefiting applicants from economically weaker sections and lower income groups. Just before the polls were announced, the Urban Development Department sanctioned rupees 111.6 crore for basic civic works across municipal corporations, including rupees 57 crore for BMC, covering footpaths, sewage and water related works in several parts of Mumbai. Politically attractive announcements ahead of the poll notification allows the government to shape voter perception while remaining within the letter of the rules, and such moves typically favor incumbents, said Mumbai University professor Mrudul Nile. The first title of the world section is US to give Ukraine security guarantees in peace talks, given by Associated Press, Berlin, December 16. The US has agreed to provide unspecified security guarantees to Ukraine as part of a peace deal to end Russia's nearly 4-year war, and more talks are likely this weekend. US officials said Monday following the latest discussions with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Berlin. The officials said talks with President Donald Trump's envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner led to narrowing differences on security guarantees that Kiev said must be provided, as well as on Moscow's demand that Ukraine concede land in the Donbas region in the country's east. Trump dialed into a dinner Monday evening with negotiators and European leaders, and more talks are expected this weekend in Miami or elsewhere in the United States, according to the US officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to commit publicly by the White House. I think we are closer now than we have been ever, Trump told reporters at an unrelated White House event. He added, "We are having tremendous support from European leaders. They want to get it ended soon. They want it, sorry, they want to get it ended also." The US official said the offer of security guarantees won't be on the table forever. They said the Trump administration plans to put forward the agreement on guarantees for Senate approval, although they didn't specify whether it would be ratified like a treaty, which needs the chamber's two-thirds approval. In a statement, European leaders in Berlin said they and the US committed to work together to provide robust security guarantees, including a European led multinational force Ukraine supported by US. They said the force work would include operating inside Ukraine as well as assisting in rebuilding Ukraine's forces, securing its skis and supporting safer areas. Witkoff and Kushner were accompanied by US Air Force Gen. Alexis Greenkevich, who heads NATO's military operations, and the US European Command as talks borne in on the particulars of what the US officials described as an Article 5 like security agreement. Article 5 is the collective defense clause stating that an attack on one member is an attack on all. The next title is Peace Proposals to End War to be Given to Russia Soon, said by Zelensky. Given by Associated Press, Kiev, December 16. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says proposals being negotiated with US officials for a deal to end the fighting in Russia's nearly 4-year old invasion of his country could be finalized within days, after which American envoys will present them to the Kremlin before possible further meetings in the US next weekend. A draft peace plan discussed with the US during talks in Berlin on Monday is very workable, Zelensky told the reporters hours after the discussions. He cautioned, however, that some key issues, notably what happens to Ukrainian territory occupied by Russian forces, remain unresolved. US led peace efforts appear to be picking up momentum, but Russian President Vladimir Putin may balk at some of the proposals thrashed out by officials from Washington, Kiev, and Western Europe. Okay, the next title is Saved Countless Lives, Syrian born Australian Who Tackled a Gunman, given by Amelia Nirenberg and Yan Zhuang, Sydney, December 16. Ahmed crouched. Ahmed crouched behind a car in a Sydney parking lot on Sunday, feet away from one of the two gunmen who had just turned a beachside Hanukkah celebration into a massacre. Then, sirens wailing in the background, Al Ahmed Al Ahmed jumped into action. Even as the gunman fired a shot in a different direction, Al Ahmed ran toward the assailant and pounced on him from behind. The two men tussled for several seconds from Al Ahmed wrested a long firearm from the man, who fell to the ground. As Al Ahmed pointed the weapon at him, the assailant got up and stumbled away. Al Ahmed, whose actions were caught on a video that has been verified by the New York Times and who was identified on Monday by Australian officials, is being praised as a hero in one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in Australian history. In the after in the aftermath of the mass shooting, which left the country and its Jewish community reeling, Al Ahmad's bravery provided much needed solace. Al Ahmad, a Syrian born fruit seller, risked his life and likely prevented the massacre from being even worse, officials said. At the best of times, what we see is Australians coming together, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said at a news conference referring to the risks that Mr. Al Ahmad took, adding that he had been hospitalized with a serious injury. It was not immediately clear how he had been hurt. Footage of Mr. Ahmad's intervention was shared widely across social media and even made its way into the White House, where President Trump called Al Ahmad a very, very brave person. He, as an Australian citizen who immigrated from Syria in 2006 and has two daughters aged 3 and 6, his parents told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. He had been drinking coffee with a friend near the beach when he heard gunshots, they added. Chris, Chris Minns, the Premier of the state of New South Wales, who visited Ahmed in the hospital, said he had saved countless lives. The next title is Pakistani court gives 35-year jail term to top leader of PAN TLP. Given by Press Trust of India, Lahore, December 16. A top leader of the PAN radical outfit Tehreek Tehreek Ilebak Tehreek-e-Labaq Pakistan (TLP) has been sentenced to 35 years in jail by an anti-terrorist court for inciting people to behead Pakistan's then Chief Justice. The anti-terrorism court on Monday sentenced Radical Islamist Party (TLP's) deputy chief Zahir, Zahirul Zahirul Hassan Shah for inciting the public against the then Chief Justice of Pakistan, Qazi Faiz Issa, in July 2024, a court official said. ATC Lahore Judge Arshad Javed announced the verdict in jail proceedings. The convict was handed over to the superintendent of court court Lakpat jail. The next title is Trump sues BBC for $10 billion over speech edit, accuses it of defamation. Given by Reuters, December 16. President Donald Trump sued the BBC for up to $10 billion in damages over edited clips of a speech that made it appear he directed supporters to storm the US Capitol, opening an international front in his fight against media coverage he deems untrue or unfair. Trump accused Britain's publicly owned broadcaster of defaming him by splicing together parts of a January 6, 2021 speech, including one section where he told reporters to march on the Capitol. Guys, here it's given Capitol and twice. I mean, if someone makes printing mistake, he can make once, but how again and again? And another where he said, "Fight like hell." It omitted a section in which he called for peaceful protest. Trump's lawsuit alleges the BBC defamed him and violated a Florida law that bars deceptive and unfair trade practices. He is seeking $5 billion in damages for each of the lawsuit's two counts. The BBC said it would defend the case and would not make any further comment. It had previously apologized to Trump, admitted an error of judgment, and acknowledged that the edit gave the mistaken impression that he had made a direct call for violent action. But it has said that but it has said there is no legal basis to sue. A spokesperson for Prime Minister Keir Starmer said any legal action was a matter for the corporation, but the government defended the principle of a strong, independent BBC as a trusted, relied upon national broadcaster reporting without fear or favor. Starmer has gone to great lengths to cultivate a solid relationship with Trump. Trump, in his lawsuit filed on Monday in Miami federal court, said the BBC, despite its apology, has made no showing of actual remorse for its wrongdoing nor meaningfully institutional changes to prevent future journalistic abuses. The next title is US military says strikes on three boats in the Eastern Pacific Ocean kill eight. Given by Associated Press, Washington, December 16. The US military said Monday that it attacked three boats accused of smuggling drugs in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, killing a total of eight people as scrutiny over the boat strikes is intensifying in Congress. The military said in a statement on social media that the strikes targeted designated terrorist organizations, killing three people in the first vessel, two in the second boat, and three in the third boat. It didn't provide evidence of their alleged drug trafficking but posted a video of a boat moving through water before exploding. President Donald Trump has justified the attacks as a necessary escalation to stem the flow of drugs into the United States and asserted the US is engaged in an armed conflict with drug cartels. But the Trump administration is facing increasing scrutiny from lawmakers over the boat strike campaign, which has killed at least 95 people in 25 known strikes since early September, including a follow up strike that killed two survivors, clinging to the wreckage of a boat after the first hit. Moving to the next title, authorities continue to seek evidence in search for Brown University shooter. Given by Associated Press, Rhode Island, December 16. Authorities knocked on doors in search of video and sifted sifted through snow and dumpsters for other evidence that might lead them to the Brown University gunman, whose face was covered or not visible in footage captured before and after the weekend attack that killed two students and wounded nine others. Officials on Monday released three new videos of the man they believe carried out Saturday's attack that show him wearing a mask and a dark two tone jacket. Although his face was not visible, the footage from about 2 hours before the shooting provided the clearest images yet of the suspect. The FBI said the man is about 5 feet 8 inches tall with a stocky build. The agency offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the person responsible. We are asking for the public's assistance, Providence Police Chief Oscar Perez said at a news conference, urging people who might recognize the suspect to call a tip line. Police renewed their search after releasing a person of interest Sunday once they determined the evidence pointed elsewhere. Meanwhile, details began to emerge about the students who were shot. The abrupt change of direction marked a setback in the investigation as questions swirl about campus security, the apparent lack of school video evidence, and whether the focus on the person of interest gave the attacker more time to escape. Governor Dan Mackey requested additional local police at schools to provide reassurance for students, families, and educators. A church on the university campus planned to host a community service of lament, healing, and hope on Tuesday night. The next title is How the COVID 19 Pandemic Lockdown Changed a Songbird's Beak. This has been given by Emily Anthus. Emily Anthus. Sorry, this has been given by Emily Ants, December 15. About 2 decades ago, the dark eyed junco, a forest dwelling sparrow, began to colonize urban Los Angeles. The birds proved to be remarkably successful in the city, making themselves at home on the bustling campus of the University of California, LA. They also rapidly diverged from their wildland counterparts, adopting different breeding behaviors and displaying different physical traits, including shorter wings. The urban juncos also developed shorter, stubbier beaks, a shift that may have been driven by a change in diet. But when UCIA's campus shut down during the pandemic, something remarkable happened. The beaks of juncos born on campus reverted to their wildland shape several years later. After the pandemic related restrictions had been lifted, the distinctive urban beak shape returned. Researchers reported in a new study on Monday. For ecologists, the COVID 19 pandemic represented a remarkable natural experiment, an opportunity to study what wild animals did when humans stayed home, and maize during what has become known as the anthropause. Mountain lions crept closer to cities and sea turtles ventured closer to shore. While birds lowered the volume of their songs, scientists have found. But the new study, which was published by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences is the first to document a change in the physical form of a wild animal population. We were really shocked, said Pamela Ye, who is an evolutionary biologist at UCLA and an author of the study. The findings, she added, highlight how deeply embedded humans are in natural ecosystems and how rapidly our actions can reshape other species. I think it's just important for us to know what our effects are and know how dramatic our effects can be. In their natural forest habitats, dark eyed juncos survive primarily on seeds and insects, but the birds that live on UCLA's campus have diets closer to those of the average college student. Things like cookies breed, said Ellie Diamond, who is an ecologist and evolutionary biologist at Bard College and the other author of the study. UCLA students seem to like pizza, but COVID 19 restrictions sharply limited human activity on campus for most of 2020 and 21. Classes moved online, dining halls and restaurants closed, and then bird beaks began to change. There was a time lag to the phenomenon, the researchers found. The Juncos born in the spring of 2020, shortly after the restrictions first went into effect, had the standard urban style beaks, but those born in 21 and 2022 had the longer, slimmer beaks more typical of the wildland Juncos. The researchers can't say for certain what drove the quick shift in beak shape, but they suspect that it was a case of rapid adaptive evolution. When human food became scarce on campus, when human food became sca- when human food became scarce on campus, birds with traditional wildland shaped beaks might have been better positioned to survive on natural food sources like seeds and more likely to reproduce the following year. It seems to really reflect the previous year leading up to that nesting event. Dr. Diamond said, who is successful and who is not, and which traits they are passing on. Scientists still don't know precisely what dietary differences what dietary differences might have driven the emergence of a new urban beak shape and city dwelling juncos may be dining on different seeds and insects than their wildland counterparts. And we don't have to go far away, Dr. Ye said. You don't have to go to Antarctica or to the mountains in Nepal or to the plains of Africa. You can go right out to your backyard or to your front yard or to your school campus and see something pretty amazing happening. Okay. Let's go through some small neighborhood watch. Next title from Pakistan: two killed in attack on polio vaccination team. Two people, including a police constable, were killed in a targeted attack by unidentified gunmen on a polio vaccination team in northwest Restive, Khyber- Pakistan's Restif Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakhtun, Pakhtunkhwa province on Tuesday. Police said the assailants opened fire at polio eradication drive workers in the Tangi area of Salarzi Tehsil of Bajaur district bordering Afghanistan. Officials said the deceased police constable was identified as Sajjad, deployed for the security of the polio team, and a civilian. Next one is from Sri Lanka. Over 600 schools to remain shut in cyclone hit areas. Over 600 schools in three cyclone affected provinces of Sri Lanka will not be reopening for the third term, and the students will be promoted without tests. Wow. Sorry. The Ministry of Education said on Tuesday. The Ministry of Education directed schools to refrain from conducting term tests for grades 6 to 10 for the third term of the academic year, reported News First Lanka portal. At least 640 schools in the cyclone affected areas will remain shut, said Nalaka Koluveva, Secretary for the Education Ministry. Next title is from China. Court sentences 27 people for smuggling. A Chinese court imposed jail sentences and fines on Tuesday on 27 people for shipping antimony ingots out of the country without export licenses, in a ruling that highlights how China is tightening enforcement of its controls on strategic minerals. China is the world's largest producer of antimony, which is used in batteries, chips, flame retardants, and the defense sector. Beijing added antimony to its export control list in September 2024. Next one is from Sudan. Over 100 civilians killed in drone strikes, UN. Sorry, guys. At least 104 people were killed, including 43 children, in multiple drone attacks in Sudan's Kurdufan region since December 4. The UN Human Rights Office said on Tuesday, I am alarmed by the further intensification in hostilities, said United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk, referring to clashes between the Sudanese army, the Rapid Support Forces, and the Sudan People's Liberation Movement. And the last one is from Congo. Wanda backed M23 rebels to withdraw from seized city. Wanda backed M23 rebels said Tuesday they'll withdraw from Uvira, the strategic city in eastern Congo seized last week, as fighting in the region escalated despite a US mediated peace deal. Corneille Nangaa, leader of the Congo River Alliance, which includes M23, said the withdrawal was requested by the US and is a unilateral trust building measure to facilitate the peace process. The statement also called for the demilitarization of Uvira, the protection of its population and infrastructure, and the monitoring of the ceasefire through the deployment of a neutral force. Uvira residents said Tuesday that the rebels are still in the town. The world section ends here, people. Thank you for being here till now. See you tomorrow on the only YouTube channel where you won't be asked to listen every word carefully, where you'll be completely asked to zone out the way you like or the way your mind like. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.